So, it's early February 2022 and time for something a little wintry. Welcome back to Midlander in the Mountains. Here is episode 6, Run VT. Thank you for joining me. So, to my first winter video, which has posed me something of a problem. You see, Austria is world famous for skiing, which I'm sure you all know. The Austrians start early. In fact, it's like they were almost born on skis. And at this point, I have a confession to make. I've never skied in my life, ever. Now, I'm not saying I'd never try, but I've no doubt many of you are proficient skiers and have no desire to see a middle-aged Midlander attempting to learn, or even ending up in traction, although it might be entertaining for some. I was always the kid at school who dropped the ball, couldn't throw, kick it or carry it, and the games teacher just sent me for a run. That's my dilemma. And the solution? Snowshoes. But before all that, a quick glance at today's location. Today we are at the Rax Mountain, just over 60 miles southwest of Vienna, at the base of which is a valley called Höhlental that the river Schwarze flows through. My journey begins here at the cable car station, where the car park also doubles as a camping area, but it is not for the faint-hearted, as temperatures here regularly reach -10 in winter. We make our ascent to over 5,000 feet via the cable car, which was built in 1926, although you'll be pleased to know it's been regularly maintained since. Right, at the time of filming, a return ticket costs around about €30, and to rent the equipment that we'll be using today costs only 12. So, our route here from the cable car station up to the Raxalmberg Gasthof, and then we're going to take a walk via the Praterstern to the Höhlental Aussicht, where we'll get a very good view of the valley. As I mentioned in previous videos about how the railway was instrumental in the tourism explosion in the Wiener Alps, it was inevitable really that a cable car would come in the early 20th century, allowing easy access to the summit of Rax for day trippers who would arrive by train. As ever, I'll put a link to the cable car website in the description. After walking through the cable car station at the top, you find yourself at the Raxalmberg Gasthof, where you can rent your walking poles and snowshoes, study a map and take in the vistas. But without further ado, it's time to experience my first time with these. At just under 5,000 feet, Rax here is just slightly lower than its neighbour over there, the Schneeberg. But it's no less fun. Now, I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you a bit of local history about a man round here who used to be something of a legend. Well, back in 1755, in Salzkammergut, which is an area of Austria about 120 miles, 125 miles from here as the crow flies, was born a man called Georg Hubmer. And Georg was a forester who left school at 17 with his brother and moved to an area not far from here known as the Waldviertel, or the forest quarter in German, where he tendered for and successfully was awarded a contract in order to mine coal, which was needed not far from here, down in the valley in Hirschwang. And he was so successful at that he then came to notice of the Emperor Franz II, who awarded him a contract to get wood to Vienna, which he did by floating it down the River Schwarze, the river here. Quite a feat at the time, as a lot of people didn't believe it could be done. He then expanded his business empire to the west of here, to a town called Mur, which was not connected to the Schwarze River. So he decided to build the biggest tunnel in Austria in order to connect it, and continued to service Vienna with wood from there via a place called the Wiener Neustadt Canal, of which my friend Tom has done a very, very good video, and I shall get a link in the description below. Now, all this from a guy who left school at 17 without any qualifications whatsoever, and by the end of his life he'd set up a school, a pension fund and health insurance for all his employees. And that's why he's ended up being known as the Racks King. Be inspired. I've got to be honest, I seriously underestimated the complexities of filming this today. The first thing that's noticed, hello, Scott. The first thing I've noticed, this is the first time I've ever filmed in snow, is that it gets absolutely everywhere. You'd be in big trouble without a lens cap. But as you probably won't be carrying camera equipment across the racks if you ever visit, I shall take this opportunity to talk about walking in snowshoes themselves. Well, it's a most bizarre experience, really. I tried to turn round like you can if you're just wearing normal shoes, and promptly fell over, which probably won't come as a surprise to anyone that skis or snowboards. But as soon as you lift your feet up, of course, these things hinge and the back ends remain either on or very close to the ground. So you have to kind of look at your feet as you're turning round. Otherwise, one of the snowshoes will just dig in and you just end up falling over. But apart from that, yes, it's quite pleasant. And after about, I would say, a 25-minute puff and blow from the cable car station, you get here where you spot the first place that you can go and get some lunch. However, At this point, I was politely reminded by my cameraman that a biscuit would have to suffice, as the filming schedule did not allow for lunch in the Otto House restaurant. Boo! So, dear viewers, that's my excuse for a trip up again in summer. Back to the route. And all you've got to do is follow the signs, and then follow the blue signs, and keep going in that direction over there. I'm sure that later on in life my body will thank me for doing things like this. Mind you, I really regret leaving my lip balm behind. Oof. According to the signs, only another 10 minutes to go. Tell me about this little bit in the guidebook. And I'd certainly rather not fall down there. Ooh. Just keep following the blue poles. That is absolutely sensational. And then, finally, like a gateway to a new world, we find what we've been looking for, the Herlental Aussicht, or the view of the Herlental Valley. I sure hope it's worth it. Woohoo! And here, finally, at the Herlental Aussicht, we get a wonderful view of the neighbouring mountain, which we will be covering in the summer over there. So if we can just pan the camera around, that is Schneeberg. And although it's more than 2.5, 3 miles away at least, you almost feel you can reach out and touch it from here. And if we just come forward, if you can just come forward a little bit and just have a look down there, you get a view right the way down into the Herlental itself. And here, behind me, in that direction, is the Bundesland, or the Austrian state of Styria, or Steiermark. I then spied a memorial plaque dedicated to a former patron of the Otto House restaurant that we just saw from a distance. It reads, dedicated to our dear landlady Hedwig Kronich in the year 1910. Well, she must have pulled a good pint. I've got to say, the wind is getting up a little bit now, and unfortunately, much as though I could probably stand here for a good half an hour just admiring the view, we've got a 3 o'clock cable car to catch, so we've now got to do it all back again. But I can truly recommend this one. And on the way back, we were reminded why I dressed like Scott of the Antarctic. Fire boy, when the wind gets up here, it's not messing about. Woo! But as quick as it came, the zephyr was gone, and a beautiful calm returned. Well, I must say, that was a thoroughly entertaining day on the racks. Woohoo! Thank you for joining me. Please give me a like and subscribe. Until next time, ta-da!